Part 3 of our travels across Canada sees us departing from Jasper. We've travelled up from Banff, done a couple of tours which will be in another video. We then transitioned through 4 provinces as we make our way across the plains to Toronto. Jasper as a town is a bit of a tourist place as well, but it's also another staging point for Canadian National. And we saw our first bit of wildlife. The hotel, Forest Park Hotel, was excellent. Different sort of decor. We had a good meal. Seeing the train was late, they were still serving some hot stuff, so yeah, wasn't too bad. But their stuffed animals gave you an insight as to why you don't go walking in the forest in the dark. Bit scary in parts. But the hotel itself has a spa, indoor pool, really good things. And we had a buffet breakfast, so all you can eat. I like my bacon when I'm on holidays, but the hotel itself we can recommend. It was opposite the marshalling yards, which for a trained person was a great place to be. We could watch them pulling together the consists to go east and west, and enjoyed that facet of it. Okay, so the Canadian's now running 2 hours late, but it is coming in the next few minutes. But the thing is, it then has to have a clean and change around of the seats and what have you, so it'll be another hour, possibly 3 o'clock before we get away. The other interesting thing is that these container trains, which you see here, have priority over all transit on the line. So it's a single line with passing loops. However, if there's a container train, you need to pull over and let it go. This really is the lifeline for Canada, this railway track. There's no two ways about it. So between the coal, the wheat, the containers, this is a busy time, and as I said previously, these consists are about 200 plus carriages, so she's big. Unlike the Rocky Mountaineer, breakfast was a lot more informal. You had 3 sessions. You could have early, mid and later, and they'd just knock on your door and say breakfast, first session is ready, second session, whatever. As you can see, the train wasn't overly full. We had this section where you get coffee and juice and snacks all day, and then you go through this car, and it was a case of not a tight squeeze, but yeah, 2 people couldn't really move freely across. There's a reading room where you could just sit, do computing work if you want. It had its own dome car, which we spent a bit of time up here. We were being in sleeper plus level. We were able to basically wander the train at leisure. Breakfast, excellent breakfasts again, cannot fault them, and you could just eat leisurely until such time as they sort of cleared away, and the next session came in. But we found at no stage where we really pushed to move on. Once again, you had different people from different parts of the country and the world sitting opposite you and having a chat. Our cabin looks small, but you know, you could stretch out. They put the beds up while you're having breakfast, and it's all prepared, and you just sit back in your lounge chair and watch the world go by. Unlike the Rocky Mountaineer, the Canadian does stop at several places for passengers to get off and on, and I just love this Saskatoon. What a great name.
Okay, short quiz for you. Which train's moving? Are we moving, or is the freight train moving? Well, the answer's over here. Nothing's happening on this side. So it's the freight train starting up. I believe these grey ones with potash, carrying potash or fertiliser. Saskatoon is a major producer of potash. There's mines all underneath and a huge processing plant, which I think I might have taken a photo of. If I did, I'll cut it into this commentary. But yeah, so much freight moves along this track. So we've just spent 20 minutes. Obviously there's something still ahead of us. So this one will clear, and then the other one will come in, and then hopefully we can go. It's always the case of hurry up and wait. was train number 1 heading to Vancouver. Okay, what's the time? 7 o'clock in the morning. We're now in the bathroom, about to have a shower. Don't get upset, you're not going to see anything. But you have a nice little area to get dry in. The shower's quite reasonable. You set the temperature there, press the button in, and for as long as it takes, you can leather up in between and press it again and down it comes. Of course, being the first shower, it will probably be cold, so let's just get that going. You get 2 towels, one for the floor, one to dry, and some shampoo and a soap as well. Okay, so once you're finished, I lashed out and I had a four plunge shower today. Use your ground towel just to mop everything up for the next person. Push it in there. Another one in there. And leftover shampoo and what have you. Just push it in the rubbish bin and you're done.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay, so we've just left Sioux Lookout, continuing our travel east to Toronto, and we're just up in the dome car after having breakfast, which was really nice. Just had sultana bran and toast, but that was more than enough. Lois had the pancakes, which she said were very nice as well. So how many people on board?
78.
Yeah. Well, there were 178 people on board when we started the journey. Quite a few got off at Winnipeg. I don't know if more got on or not. So yeah, it's not a busy train. Still a lot of stopping and starting though, with the right of way going on. So it's nice and quiet this morning. I was able to have my shower while we were all stopped, so there was no rocking and rolling. So no, off to a start. Okay, we're on our last half hour into Toronto, having spent 3 nights on the Canadian, and yeah, a really good trip. Recommend it to anyone. Food was excellent. Yeah, sleeping on a train's not the easiest thing to do. The 2-bunk suite that we're in, the beds are big, comfortable, no problems. Put your earplugs in, it should be right. So we'll just film some of the track infrastructure as we're coming into Toronto. Seeing a lot more rail lines now. Actually, this one looks a bit disused.
Of Toronto, the capital of the province of Ontario. Toronto is Canada's largest city. To date, the Greater Toronto Area has a population of nearly 6 million. People have lived in the Toronto region on the north shore of Lake Ontario since just after the last ice age. Europeans arrived in the 17th century and eventually established a military post and civilian town in 1793. The town was officially incorporated as the City of Toronto in 1834. As well as Canada's 2 official languages, English and French, more than 100 languages and dialects are spoken by the residents of Toronto. It is a thriving, multicultural city with most of the world's cultures represented. To date, Toronto is Canada's business and financial capital. 1/6 of the country's workforce is employed here. Defining the Toronto skyline at 1,815 feet is the CN Tower, one of Canada's most recognizable landmarks, which was named one of the 7 wonders of the modern world. Welcome to Toronto, Ontario.
Second last.